Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you a very beautiful bursu bag recipe whose model belongs to a famous brand. It turned out to be a wonderful summer bag. Look, we will knit this color together and prepare it. I want to show the base right away. It was a very neat work. Look, let's see the model closely. I worked exactly as the original. Again, look, I want to show the bursa part like this. It fits very neatly. Look, let's take a look at our bag in detail. It was really wonderful. I want to show it on the inside. We will use a very special, beautiful bursa here. Again, I am sharing the details with you step by step. Look, we will make a very neat placement inside. There is a very easy trick. I am sharing it with you again. Look, the feature of this bursa is that it opens completely in 3 stages. Look, second, and it closes like this. We will use a very nice bursa in 3 stages. Look, my sister wanted these colors in our work. I prepared it for her. It turned out really nice. You can make any color combination you want. Here, look, I prepared a different color. I really like this too. Let's see the play part again. Look, these colors turned out great too. I used the same scholarship again. It has a very easy construction. I shared the recipe with you step by step. I hope it will be a useful content. You can find all the information about our measurements and how much yarn we used in the video. Before moving on to our recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. You can subscribe to our channel for free. I would be really happy if you like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I obtained all the materials I used for my bag from Aksa Orgu Boutique. I will add the link to their Instagram account in the description section below. You can reach it by clicking there. Look, we will use RAF yarn for our bag. We will use 5 colors. In other words, we will use 5 balls for this bag. We can make 2 bags from 5 balls. When you buy 5 balls, you can easily get 2 bags. The knitting of these raffias is really soft. It does not hurt your hand at all. You can also contact Aksa Orgu Boutique to buy these materials. You can make your safe shopping from there. I preferred colors dominated by purple. I really like the colors, but you can make any color combinations you want. There are many different colors. You can also contact Aksa Knitting Boutique to see the different colors. My crochet hook number will be 3.5 millimeters, and we will use a metal burrs. Look, this is a little different from the other burrs. I want to show it like this. We will use a metal burrs. Our measurement will be 20 centimeters. It consists of 3 levels. Look, 1, 2, and 3 levels are opened. It is a better quality and really nice scholarship than other scholarships. I will use such a scholarship. If you are going to use scholarships of different sizes, you can make it different from the numbers I gave. I will mention it again in the video. You will find these details in the video on how to enlarge and reduce your bag. Look, I want to show you the texture of the shelf yarn I used up close. It has a really soft texture. First we start with a chain. After locking our first chain here, we pull our starting chains a little looser than the setting we knitted. Now we complete this stage by pulling a total of 26 chains. After pulling a total of 26 chains, we will turn the reverse part of the chain, not the straight part. We will start knitting our tight stitches using these dotted lines on the back. See dots. Now I leave 26 chains. I am inserting into the back dotted line of 25 chains. See, the single yarn will be left on the other side of the 2 T-threads. I insert into this point and pull out a loop. There are 2 loops. I fill them. I knitted a tight stitch by passing them through. Look at the dotted line of the next chain, which is single. I insert into this point. I pulled out a loop and tight needle. In this way, we will knit our tight needles by inserting them into the back dotted lines at the point where each chain is, until the last chain. We came to the end and I knitted 1 tight needle by inserting them into the back dotted line inside the last chain. Now look at the short yarn. I hold it like this on the yarn we knitted. I insert it into the last chain again, and I took a loop from here. I knit the second tight needle. We knitted the last chain, the second tight needle. We will bring the yarn from the back and hide it. See, now I insert the last chain for the 3rd time. I insert it for the 3rd time and knit my 3rd tight needle here, the last chain. We knitted 1, 2, 3 tight needles. Now I am moving on to the other chains. See, we have passed to the opposite side, and here we will insert into the spaces where the chains are, and look, 2 lines like this will be seen on our hook. That is, we insert into the bottom parts of the tight needles. See, by inserting into the bottoms of these, we will have knitted the single crochets here. We knitted 3 single crochets on the way back. I come to the last chain and knit 1 single crochet to the others, and we hide the short yarn here. Now let's go to the end of the row by inserting 1 into each. We come to the point where the last chain is, and we knit 1 single crochet by inserting into this chain. Now look at the point where the first single crochet we knitted is. We insert it on top of the first single crochet we knitted. We took a stitch. We passed the stitch we took out by sliding it through the waiting stitch and finished the row. Now we will go up with a chain. Look at the last point. Together with the first single crochet we started, the last single crochet we knitted, and a slip point, we obtain 3 single crochet points in the last chain. We accept 1 single crochet at the slip point here. We finish with 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Look at the end point here. It will be an exact reflection of here. 3 single crochets here, and here with the slip, we obtain 3 single crochets at the same point. We went up a chain and knitted 3 single crochets to the top of the first single crochet. We knitted 3 single crochets to the same space. We knitted 3 single crochets to the tops of the next single crochets. We continue knitting. Look, we knitted 3 single crochets to the first one. We knitted the others one by one. We come to the corner, that is 3. I knitted 3 single crochets at the last point. We came to the part where the single crochet is. Look, we knitted 3 single crochets to the first of the 1, 2, 3 single crochets of the triple crochet. 1, 2, 3, 3. We knit 1 single crochet to the second one. We knit 3 single crochets to the third one. 1, 2, 3. Look, we set up the ground for the rectangular base. We knit 3 single crochets to the first one of the 3 here. We knit 1 single crochet to the second one and 3 single crochets to the third one. We have made the corners clear, and now we continue. We will proceed by knitting 1 single crochet to each single crochet that comes here until the last single crochet point. Look, we came to the last single crochet. We knit 3 single crochets to the last single crochet here. We knit 1 single crochet to the second one, and finally we have 1 slip point. Since we accept 1 single crochet at the slip point, we do not insert here now. What do? We make a slip again. We both combine the row and accept this point as 1 single crochet. We come. We started with 3 single crochets. We finished with 3 single crochets and insert to the top of the first single crochet. We took off the stitch. We passed the stitch we took off by sliding it through the waiting stitch. The slip point gave us 1 single crochet. Now we are moving on to a new row with a chain. Now look, we have created our triple single crochets in the 4 corners. The operations we will do from now on are easier. I think it is easier to insert 1 single crochet to the top of the first single crochet. I knit 1 single crochet. When I see the second single crochet of the triple, I knit 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Look, I'm continuing with 1 for the next one and 1 for the next one again. I will continue in this way, knitting 1 single crochet to the first of the triple, 3 single crochets to the second, 1 single crochet to the other, until I knit the others one by one and share this transformation with you right away, until we continue knitting 1 single crochet to the third. Look, I have come to the point where the triple single crochet is in the corner. I am knitting 1 single crochet to the first of the triple. I am knitting 3 single crochets to the second one. 2, 3, and 3, 1 to another one. Here, 1 single crochet is knitted on top of the single crochet, and it immediately meets us with 3. Look, I knit 1 single crochet in the same hole, 3 single crochets right away in the first one. I knit 3 in the second one, 1, 2, and 3. I continue by knitting the others 1. Now look, this corner is important. The logic we did in the rectangular base is just this. Look at the 4 corners. We have 4 corners. we always increase the rectangular base by inserting 3 into them. Now we will continue by knitting 3 single crochets to the second of the triple single crochets each time, doing the same process in all 4 corners and knitting the others one by one, and the row will continue in this way. When we come to the triple in the corner, look, when we come to the end point, we will knit 1 single crochet to the first one. When we see the second one, we will knit 3 single crochets each time. When we see one slip to the other one, we will not use this space. We will accept the slip as a single crochet by inserting it to the top of the first single crochet, making a slip because the slip points will both unite our row and will be the point where we move to the next row. Other points, look, we will make our increases in the 4 corners. It will be with slip at the end and beginning. Now we will knit our rectangular base in this way until we reach 7 rows. If you think you cannot understand the base at this stage, I am saying it especially for beginners. There was a video where I explained in great detail how to make a rectangular base. If you write it in the comments, I will send you the link, or I can add the link to the description section. It is also useful to state this. Now let's continue until we reach 7 rows and see you together in the next stage. Let's move on as we have described here. We have prepared our 7-row rectangular base. Now we will move on to the model row. Our model consists of multiples of 4. What does multiple of 4 mean? We need to have tight needles in the form of 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus. We need to obtain a number of tight needles that can be divided by 4. Here, we now have a total of 100 tight needles. 100 tight needles will give me 25 models when I divide them by 4. By the way, the base looks small compared to the bursa, but since there is an expansion during the model, it will fit perfectly into the bursa. Here your bursa can be smaller or larger. Here you can prepare the base in the size you want according to your bursa. The important thing is that when we knit the bag, the bursa fits perfectly into the bag. That is, the bag grasps the bursa. Here, for example, the base you knitted was too small. You can do it in 8, 9 rows, not 7. The important thing is that the tight needles we counted in the last row are seated in multiples of 4 so that we can fit and set up our model nicely. You can make the number of rows less or more. You can also play around with the base by changing the number of initial chains according to the bursa size you will make. I am now working in these sizes for a 20 centimeters bursa. Now let's give you the measurements at this stage. I will iron the situation with an iron. I would like to point this out as well. Here is the size of our base. Look, length about 25 centimeters. Length 25 centimeters and width 10 centimeters, close to 11 centimeters. This way we have obtained a base measuring 25, 11 centimeters. Now we will move on to setting up the model. What am I doing for this? Look, right away I have come to the slip point. I am immediately inserting to the top of the first single crochet. I have removed the stitch, I have made my slip and pulled a chain. Now I will knit the first row of single crochets for the wall part. We will not insert to the peaks while knitting the single crochets. Look, the single crochets look like spikes, look. The peaks look like spikes. See the outer single wing of this point and this dotted line on the back. We will insert our single crochets by inserting to these 2 points. Look, the outer single wing of the single crochet and the dotted line on the back. We will insert to these 2 points. Look, it is quite easy to insert. These points are not difficult to knit. Look, I want to show it right away. We will knit our single crochets by inserting to these 2 points, 1 row. Now, when I count my single crochets, I have obtained the number of single crochets as a multiple of 4. As I said, I have 100 single crochets. Now I am coming here. I will knit a row of single crochets by inserting the points I have shown. See, I am inserting the points I have shown. And I am knitting a row of single crochets like this. 3 single crochets in the corners, inserting each of these 3 single crochets, inserting the back cut line and the outer single wing at the same time and knitting our single crochets in 2 lines. See, we will knit 1 single crochet in the corner return. We will come to the end of the row. When we come to the end of the row, we will complete this stage by ironing the base with a steam iron in reverse. Then let's come to the end of the row and share with you how we set up the model in the row above. After knitting our single crochets for our base, we ironed it in reverse with a steam iron. I ironed it by pressing. Look, we have obtained a very neat appearance. We definitely iron the base at this stage since the bag will be hollow after knitting it. It is important to iron it at this stage since it is not possible to put the iron inside and do a proper ironing. Now look, we have come to the slip point. Since we accept one single crochet at the slip point, I immediately come to the top of the first single crochet, remove the stitch. Look, I have made my slip. I am pulling a chain, and now I am inserting into the top of the first single crochet that comes. I am knitting my first single crochet. I am coming to the next point, second single crochet. I am coming to the next point and knitting my third single crochet. We started with 3 single crochets. Now we will apply the model we call popcorn. Look, I am wrapping it around my hook. We had said that the model is made up of a multiple of 4 at the point where the 4th single crochet is. 3 single crochets and 1 popcorn. A very, very easy pattern that progresses as 3 single crochets and 1 popcorn. I wrapped it around my hook. I'm inserting into the next point. Look, it made a loop. I definitely stretch it like this. I'm not doing it too tightly at this stage. If you make the popcorn too tightly, it will have a hard texture. In other words, it will not look nice. It is definitely useful to keep the hand a little loose at this stage. Now look, we have 3 stitches. Let's show it again. Here I am stuffing my hook. I am inserting into the next point. I have extended my stitch on the 4th tight needle point. I am filling. I am knitting the first 2 stitches. 2 stitches are waiting on the hook. I am wrapping again. I am coming to the same space. I have taken off 1 stitch again. Look, I am extending my stitch. I am filling the stitch I have taken off. I am knitting the first 2 stitches again. I have wrapped around my hook again. I have inserted into the same space for the 3rd time and removed a stitch. I am filling. I am knitting the first 2 stitches again. I am stuffing my hook again. I have inserted into the same space and extended my stitch again. I am filling. I have knitted the first 2 stitches. Look, I have inserted 4 times. Now I am inserting for the 5th time. I am filling. I have inserted into the same space for the 5th time and removed a stitch. I am filling. I have knitted the first 2 stitches. Now look, at this stage we will have a total of 6 stitches from the inside out. 2, 4, 6, and I will push this point from the inside out like this. After I get 6 stitches, I fill it. Look, I collected 6 stitches at once. And right at this point, I pulled a chain like this, and I definitely push it from the inside out. Look, I'm pushing it forward like this. Then after pulling this 1 chain, I fold the model like this so that I can easily sink into the next point. I immediately sink into the next single crochet point and knit 3 single crochets in 1. I knitted my single crochet by inserting 2 or 3 stitches next to each other in the row. Now I will do the process here. I am stretching a very small stitch. I wrapped it around my hook. The next thing I will insert is the 4th single crochet stitch. I have inserted and removed the stitch. I am filling. I have knitted the first 2 stitches. 2 stitches are waiting. I am filling. I am inserting. I have removed the stitch. I knit the first 2 stitches and wait for the stitch. I fill. I sank for the 3rd time. I knitted the first 2 stitches. We sank 5 times like this. The 4th time I knitted the first 2 stitches. I wrapped. I sank for the 5th time and knitted the first 2 stitches. Look like this. There are 2, 4, 6 stitches, and I push it from the inside out so that we get a puffy look. Now I'm filling. I pulled 1 chain by gathering all the stitches at once. I fold the chain after pulling it. Look, I fold it like this. I'm twisting it like this so that I can sink into the next point easily. Look, I'm now knitting a single crochet directly to the next single crochet point. After a chain, I'm knitting 2, 3 single crochets side by side. Look, popcorn 3 single crochets, popcorn 3 single crochets. We'll continue the pattern like this until the end of the row. Look, we've come to the end of our row now. We've completed the 24th pattern now. I'm twisting it again here and knitting the 3 single crochets here. We will complete our row by doing the 25th. I knitted 2 or 3 tight stitches. Look, since we accept the 25 model slip point as tight stitch, it will correspond to this point. I will fill it immediately, dip into this slip space, and here again we will establish our popcorn pattern that we call popcorn. Dip 3, 4, 5 times and knit the first 2 stitches. Look, we collected all the stitches in 2, 4, 6 at once. I made a chain. Now I have completed the row. Look, I am coming. I will continue here. There is no need to make a connection. We will continue with the same color. Since we will change the color, we will have ensured our transition very easily when moving on to the next model. After knitting the last point, look, in the meantime, 1 or 2 or 3 tight stitches. Now we will establish a popcorn pattern on the second of the triple tight stitches we see. In other words, we are going to directly move on to the model. We will build the same model again. This time it will be on the diagonal. In other words, there will be a new popcorn between the two popcorns. This one has 3 single crochets. There are 3 single crochets in the second of the 3. Look at the second one. We knitted 3 single crochets when we started. We will knit our popcorn immediately in the second one. What am I doing here? I have completed the model. I knitted 1 single crochet immediately in the first single crochet. After knitting 1 single crochet, I fill it directly into the hook. Look, the second single crochet in the 3. I'm knitting 1 popcorn right here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look, I'm pushing it from the inside out and pulling a chain. Now look, there were 3 single crochets here. I knitted the first one. I knitted my popcorn on the second one. I'm folding the third one right away like this. I'm inserting the third single crochet and knitting my single crochet here. And look, I'm inserting the point behind the popcorn. Since the popcorn coincides with the single crochet, I'm inserting the space behind the popcorn and knitting 1 single crochet here. Again, by the way, after making the popcorn, 3 single crochets, popcorn, 3 single crochets, popcorn will coincide. The numbers fit. Look, I made the second one. My third single crochet will coincide with the first of the 3. Look, the point that looks like a spike in between is the chain. Let's not mix this up. I'm inserting the peak where the popcorn is and knitting 1 single crochet. Look, I'm not touching the chain. I'm knitting my third single crochet into the first single crochet of the triple crochet. Look, we started with 1 single crochet. We knitted our popcorn. 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Now we're going to make a popcorn here. This is the second single crochet of the triple crochet. We're knitting a popcorn into the second single crochet point of the 3 side-by-side single crochets that we knitted. Let's knit quickly 3, 4, and 5. We knitted 5. I am making a hole from the inside to the outside. Look, I am pushing with my finger. I collected 6 stitches at once. I immediately pulled a chain like this. Look, I am inserting the next tight needle here, folding like this. I knitted my single crochet immediately inserted into the wide space behind the popcorn and knitted my single crochet, and look at the triple. There are 3 single crochets side by side inserted into the first needle and my third single crochet again after the popcorn. 3 single crochets, now popcorn again in between. To the next point 1, second point will be the part where the popcorn is. 2, then the third single crochet to the first of the 3. Walk 3 single crochets. We will proceed as the second popcorn. See, the model fits like this. It is very, very easy now. Let's complete the row. How do we switch to a new color? How do we switch to the next row? Let's share this with you quickly. We have come to the second row of our model. Now after knitting 3 single crochets here, look, this was the first point we started at. We are knitting our popcorn to the point just before this, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm immediately taking it out from the inside out like this. I collected all the stitches. I am pulling my chain. Look, I am folding the model right next to it like this. I knitted my single crochet to the point next to it. Now, since the first point we started with is the single crochet here, I am knitting my single crochet immediately behind the popcorn here. Look, there are 3 single crochets along with the first 2 points. Now, since I will change the color here, I am leaving my yarn for a little bit like this for about 10 hours and cutting it, and I took it out of the loop directly. Now look at this point. I am inserting it into the top of the single crochet we started with and taking this yarn in from here. Look, the model is set. I have completed our model in this way for 2 rows. Now I am moving on to my other color. Now I will show it in a light color. It will be easier to understand. We start with a chain. We have created 1 loop with a chain. Now, what are we going to do here? In the new row, look, after knitting 2 rows, our model will come diagonally again. In other words, popcorns will now come on top of the single crochet on the popcorn we knitted in the first row. The model is always the same. 3 single crochets, 1 single corn. We proceed in the form of 3 single crochets, 1 single corn. Now look, it will come on top of the popcorn we made in the first row. In other words, it will be surprising. Think about it like this. You can start from any point you want. Look at this part. Now let's do it like this. Look, the last point we finished here, that first single crochet, the single crochet on the popcorn and the previous single crochet, I am inserting directly into the top of the single crochet after the last popcorn I knitted here. I took off a stitch. I'm knitting one single crochet here. Let's start with one single crochet, then I'm filling. Look, there's one single crochet on the popcorn. Now I'm knitting one single crochet on top of this single crochet. 1, 2, 3. We're also hiding the short yarns at this stage. 4 and 5. Look at my 5 stitches. We'll have 6 stitches like this. I've completed my knitting. I've collected all the stitches at once. I've pulled one chain. Now look, the short yarn was here. We'll hide this too. The next single crochet point. Look here. I'm going in here. Let's fold our knitting like this. I'm knitting one tight stitch right here. Let's take this short yarn in the inside. Look, we knitted a single crochet over the popcorn we knitted in the bottom row. We knitted our popcorn immediately after that. Then the first single crochet is inserted immediately behind the popcorn we knitted and we hide the short yarn. At this stage, the second single crochet. Look at the triple crochet. The same process again. One single crochet into the first of the triple crochet. Now the popcorn I knitted in the bottom row and there is a single crochet on it. And now we will knit one single crochet on top of this single crochet. Now I knitted my first popcorn. I knitted 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Now look at this space. In other words, look at the second of the triple single crochet. We will do this every time in every row. We will knit in a way that the popcorn coincides with the second of the 3 single crochets. We will make our beginning. I am knitting the popcorn right here. Let's knit it quickly 3, 4 because I showed it in the bottom rows. Look, we have obtained 6 stitches again. I am filling. I collected 6 stitches at once. I pull my one chain. Then I fold my pattern lightly like this and I come. I insert myself into the next single crochet point. We hide the short yarn. 1 single crochet. Let's take this short yarn down at this stage. We can cut it later. See, there were 3 single crochets immediately after the popcorn. We knitted a single crochet to the third one. Our second single crochet again coincides with the point behind the popcorn. See, we don't touch the chain. We knit the third single crochet to the first of the triple crochet. In other words, the popcorn is 3 single crochets. Now we will have knitted 1 popcorn here again. Look, the model fits like this. As I said, it is very easy. You will definitely understand the logic easily after you take it in your hand and knit it. There are 3 single crochets in between the popcorn. This is the example. We always continue by knitting plain. Here, the popcorn will come every time in the second of the triple crochet. After knitting the popcorn, knit a single crochet to 1, 2, 3 points and popcorn again. Single crochet to 1, 2, 3 points. Then immediately to the second point. This should be on the popcorn anyway. Look, we knit our popcorn in the space where the single crochet is on the popcorn, like here. Now let's complete this sequence. Here again, the end and the beginning. Let's share it with you quickly. Now look, we have come to the end of our row here. Did we ask for 3 single crochets again, inserting into the top of the single crochet on the popcorn? Again, after 3 single crochets, we knit our popcorn again, inserting into this point 3, 4, or 5 times, knitting the first 2 stitches. After knitting all of them, we push them from the inside out. See, we have gathered, we are pulling a chain. Now at this point, I slightly bend it and insert into the next single crochet point and insert into the single crochet point behind the popcorn. See here, we started with 1 single crochet. Now I am inserting into the top of this first single crochet. I took off the stitch and made my slip. Now I am pulling a chain. See this? 1 single crochet to the top of the first single crochet here. Insert into the point behind the popcorn. 1 single crochet. Then the first single crochet of the triple here. Look, there are 3 single crochets side by side. I am knitting the first point of the triple single crochet. Now we started with 3 single crochets as in the beginning. 3 single crochets popcorn, 3 single crochets popcorn. We will have progressed in the form of filling. See next, insert into the point and make 3 single crochets. Since I knit, I immediately knit the popcorn to the 4th point, which is really easy. There is no problem when changing colors. Once you understand the model, you can easily make color transitions. If you do not want to change colors, you can go to the top row with a chain by slipping and continue like that. Look, I knitted the popcorn, I twist it slightly and insert the next single crochet point, and look, the 3rd single crochet here, then look. I insert the single crochet to the point that looks like a spike behind the popcorn. The next point is the point where the chain is. Look, this is that chain. How do I distinguish this right away? There are 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, to the first of the 3. We will have knitted the 3rd tight stitch in the row above. Popcorn, 3 tight stitches. Now back here. Look, this is the tight stitch on the popcorn again. We will continue like this. We will change color every 2 rows. We will knit this row. Look, we will have completed these 2 rows by knitting a new popcorn between the 2 popcorns in between our new color. We will break the yarn at the end of the row and switch to our new color with a chain again. Look, we will make color changes like this, but as I said, if you do not change color, you can slip and go up with a chain and continue to apply the same model. Now we will use 5 colors as in the original. We will knit 2 rows of popcorn in our 5th color, then we will switch to knitting the tight stitch point. Now we will have hollowed out our bag enough. I also want to say this at this stage. Look, for example, your scholarship may be different in size. Your scholarship may be smaller or larger. Here, when you knit up to this stage, look at your scholarship and make sure that it will wrap around it by eye. If your numbers are different from the number I made, the important thing here is that when we knit our bag, when we place the burse inside, it should be in a way that will wrap the burse. Let's state this again. Now let's continue with the model we described for the wall part and move on to the next stage together. Look, we have completed the popcorn row of our bag. Look, we have finished our knitting with 2 rows of each color. Now it is important to start and end from the short edge at this point. Look, this was our finishing starting point. It is important to always start from this point in this part. Now look, I'm at the end of my row. In the second last row, I set up the popcorn pattern with this new color. I made my last popcorn and I am coming to the first row. Look, now I am inserting directly on top of the first tight needle that comes. Without making any shift, I am inserting on top of the first tight needle. Right there, that point where the popcorn is mine. Look. Lastly, I knitted the girl like this on her body. Let's put a hook again. This is our last knitting museum. I will look behind this. The last single crochet will be our last point. Now from now on, we will continue with single crochet only. We had 3 single crochets in between. Look, we knitted the first one. I am knitting the second one, the 3rd single crochet. Now I am inserting the 4th single crochet into the point behind the popcorn. We said that the model consists of a multiple of 4. Look again. I am not touching the chain here. Don't let this fool us. I am inserting the next single crochet without touching the chain. By the way, there are 3 single crochets. I am knitting single crochet over 3 single crochets. Also, look, behind the popcorn, look, we collected the stitches that look like a spike, and we will knit the whole thing like this. Until the end of the row, look, we have come to the end of our row. Look, we have knitted a row completely with single crochets. I am inserting the back of the last popcorn here, and I am knitting my single crochet. Look, I am not touching the chain point here. The first single crochet that I started with, this is where I started right away. Inserting the top of the single crochet and continuing to knit in a spiral manner. Look, each single crochet without making any joining points. We will continue by knitting our single crochets by inserting them into the top space where the needle is. Look, our ending and starting point is here. The last single crochet is our first single crochet, and even let's do it like this. Look, let's attach our safety pin to the body of the first single crochet of the row. Now we knitted 2 rows like this for a total of 10 rows. Look, we are not breaking the yarn in our last color anymore. We will continue by knitting the last colored single crochets. Let's complete about 10 rows by knitting, and let's continue to the next stage together, as we have described you here. After the popcorn pattern, we knitted 10 rows of single crochets. Let's give you the measurements in centimeters. Let's see how long our bag is in centimeters. The size of our bag is between 19 centimeters from the bottom to the top. Look at the mouth width when I close it. I want to say the mouth width in centimeters. In this shape, it is about 34 centimeters. When we closed it, the mouth width was 34 centimeters. Now what did I do here? Look, I made the edge of my bag clear. I'm putting it on the ground like this according to the base. Look at the ground. I determined the edge point here. After determining the edge point, I counted 50 tight stitches. Did I put the hook here again? Here again, there are 50 single crochets left. Let's remember until the point of the single crochet. We made 100 single crochets when we started. Again, we did not change the number of single crochets here. After the model, we obtained the same single crochet number again. Now we have separated the number of single crochets as 50 and 52. We will place our burrs here. Look, it is important for these edges to be clear in a neat manner. Now look at this point. There is the metal part of the burrs. At this yellow point here, we will leave 8 single crochets. I separated 50-50 here. I will separate 4 single crochets from this side. The exact middle part is clear. Look, the point where the hook is, the exact middle part is here. I'm also inserting it. I knitted 1 tight stitch now at this point. Since this is the exact edge, I will make 1, 2, 3, 4 slip stitches up to here. Then I will move on to this water placement. We will have left 4 tight stitches again at this point. Now, since this is the exact middle part, let's take out the safety pin. Now I'm inserting it into the next point here. I made 1 swipe and I sink to the next point. I threw the second swipe to the next point. I make 3 and 4 swipes. Look, did I make 1, 2, 3, 4 swipes? After the swipe, I get a bursa right away. Look, I opened it all the way. It consists of 3 levels. This bursa is from here. I hold the yarn on the top like this. First, let's make a chain like this. Look, I'm inserting into the next point. We made 4 slips here for the next tight stitch. I'm making the exact corner clear. Look, the bursa will fit nicely. We need to adjust this. Since I adjusted the numbers, it will fit nicely, I hope. Now look, I made a chain in the next one. I'm inserting into the next tight stitch. I passed the yarn through the top of the bursa. I made a loop from this point, and I'm knitting a tight stitch directly. I'm sinking into the same void again. I took out a noose and tight stitch. Look, I knitted 2 tight stitches. I'm sinking into the next stitch. Look at the tight stitch point I'm knitting. We've placed a row of tight stitches and the burrs, and we're trying to close this metal part of the burrs. If you want, you can wrap the burrs and do this. If you don't want to see any metal part, I'll continue like this. We've sunk 2 stitches at the beginning. I'm sinking 2 stitches in the next one. We're doing this process to close the burrs. See 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches in the next one. 1, 2, 3. Good. Look, 1, 2, 3 pieces. I will knit like this again. I am inserting 2 stitches into the next one again. I am knitting 12 direct single crochets. Look, now I have inserted 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. I am inserting 1 stitch into the other single crochet. I am removing the stitch and saying, look, we are knitting single crochets over this one like this. Because it is left in between, I have inserted 1 stitch here. I will knit 2 stitches into the next one. Until. Look, we will continue in the form of 1, 2, 1, 2 now. After knitting 2, I knit 1 for the next one, I knit 2 for the next one, 1 and 2. Now look, when we started, we knitted 1, 2, 3, 4 of them as 2, and the other one as 1, 2, 1, 2, inserting into the single crochets. Look, we will place this part here. Look at the end here, we will make 1, 2, 3, 4 slip stitches before the hooked needle. We will make our finish as in the beginning by inserting 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets before the slip stitch here. Now let's come by knitting our single crochets in the form of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We will continue the last 4 double crochets. Then we will make 4 slip stitches. We will have advanced to the point where the hook is again. Look, we continued by knitting our single crochets here. I want to say this in total here. We had set aside 50 single crochets in total, 4 slip stitches from here and 4 slip stitches from here. We gave it to the space right here. We have worked a total of 42 tight stitches. Look, we have double stitched at the beginning and end. In between we continued with 1 double stitch and 1 single stitch. Now at this point, look, I am stitching again at the point where I last stitched the yarn. I make a slip stitch from here, and look, after the slip, I will immediately slip until the 1, 2, 3, 4th point after this slip point. Next, point 2, 3, and 4, hook up to the point. Let's remove this, we have nothing to do with it. We made 4 shifts from here. Also, when we started from here, it was making 4 shifts. Now, we will have made a total of 8 shifts here. Look, I am shifting. The second for one is 12 MP3. And we made 4 slips. Look at this part, we made 8 slips in total. Now I'm pulling a chain like this at the point. We'll start single crochets again immediately. After inserting this point, I don't insert the slip point, I insert the next point. I immediately switch to single crochets, 1, 2, same point 2. What were we doing? We were inserting 4 double crochets. There is no need to show what comes after. Do the same operations we did here again and see that the scholarship fits perfectly when we do it this way. As I said, if the numbers are a little short, you can make increases from the starting point, or it is a little small. This does not fit. You can open it with a little steam. You can make it feathery. You can make adjustments like that. You can play around with it. Look, it fits quite regularly. The important thing is to find the exact edge point of the bag. We have already adjusted the numbers here. Now we will sink 42 points again here. We had made 4 shifts when we started. We will finish this point again with 4 shifts when we finish. Let's go to the end part quickly. Look here, we have come to the end of the row. We were finishing the last points by sinking 2 and 2. Now at this point, I immediately sink to the bottom of the last point. I sank and make a shift. Look next. Here we have 4, 1, 2, 3. Together with the first point we started, we had left 4 spaces, 1 for these immediately. Do I make 2, 3, or 4 slips? We had already slipped to the other point. I leave some of our yarn long and cut it and take the yarn out of the ball. Now look at the last point where I slipped here. Let's take the yarn to the inside from this part. Let's fix this inside. We will hide it inside. Now it is important to iron it by hand. At this point, let's iron it nicely. The numbers are equal, as I said. If you count, your knitting will be more regular. After finding the edge point, you can find the bag and place it. You can also sew aces inside, but you can use it without aces. Let's hide this thread last. I lowered the hook. I'm taking it out now. Look, we have completed our bag like this, our scholarship right away. Let's close it. The edges are visible like this. As I said, if you want these metal parts to disappear completely or not be visible at all, you can wrap it in a row. After wrapping, you can combine it with this tight needle process we did. Look, our recipe was like this. I hope you like it and try it. It was quite easy to make. I wish ease to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.